So originally today was supposed to be the debut of a brand new series that Mira and I have coming out called Argument Deconstructed, and trust us, that video will still be coming out, but next week, due to a combination of audio errors with the video that's just unsavable, on top of the fact that I personally feel like the video could be much better. We don't want to put out any sort of crap on the channel. We want to push ourselves to put out the kind of content that you guys deserve to have. So that video is getting delayed till next week, and instead I am standing here in our bedroom going to talk about something that's a little controversial, a little bit, kind of a sore subject for some people, but at the end of the day is a topic that we do need to discuss, and that is the current state of fandoms, some of the wildness in some fandoms, and how everyone needs to chill. Isn't that right, babe? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure that there are a couple of you who are not privy to what's called fandom culture who are probably sitting there wondering, what do you mean you can't fully enjoy a show? While, yes, it seems to be common knowledge that if you like something, you enjoy it, there is way more to enjoying something when it comes to fandom culture. While in the past there have been fandom culture things that kind of really push things, I think back to the late 70s, early 80s debate between Star Trek and Star Wars, and then in the late 90s with discussions about the problematic Final Fantasy VII fans who were taking the game a little way too seriously. Those unfortunately pale in comparison to what's been going on in the past few years in relation to certain fandoms, some even related to children's shows. Now, the children's shows examples actually tie into a couple things. The first one I want to bring up is probably the bigger example, and that is Voltron Legendary Defender. Voltron Legendary Defender is a very popular series on Netflix. It's a reboot of the 1980s Voltron, and generally it is very well received amongst its fans, and also has created a very hardcore fan base, but unfortunately in recent time, that hardcore fan base has really bitten itself in the ass as far as the way that it treats not only each other, but those who have created the show. While in recent years, things like shipping, which is pairing one character and another character together in a romantic relationship, has become a lot more prevalent amongst various fandoms, not just in the Voltron fandom, the whole topic of shipping has gotten so out of hand that it has caused death threats not only to voice actor Bex, who's the voice of Pidge, but the family of Josh Keaton, who is the voice of Shiro. In fact, in recent time, voice actor Josh Keaton straight up said he was not going to be commenting on shipping culture at all after making some comments around that kind of culture and his whole family receiving death threats. Now, I'm going to let my true colors shine for a moment. I generally don't watch series for the fact of shipping. Shipping will happen. I'm not a huge shipper. Recently, I've been re-listening to the first season of Critical Role and remembering how much I love the relationship between Percival and Vixalia. It's because of the way that Matthew Mercer tells the story, the way the story developed, and the way that that ship became canon. That's how I fell in love with the series. Generally, my ships are canon, and even my non-canon ships, They don't really take precedence, so I'm sure some of you are going to bitch and complain asking why am I talking about shipping. Well, it's one thing to talk about shipping as far as giving people hate just within a fandom, but going above and beyond the Call of Duty, as some would call it, to straight up send death threats to people who have created the show. In fact, the animators and staff of the show have gotten death threats because of the fact that Clance was never deemed canon at all. Jeremy Shada has gotten a bunch of hate because he made comments saying that, yeah, Keith and Lance are bros. They're not in a relationship. And have taken the opportunity when he also said in a recent live stream that he sees that Pidge and Lance would never get in a relationship, to twist that as to, see, Clance can become canon, completely forgetting the fact that he never said it would, harassing him, being over the top with that, and then above that, because of the fact that Bex Klaus Taylor decided to make a sheath joke on Twitter, thus giving her death threats to the point that she doesn't even want to do conventions anymore, and then the Josh Keaton issue from earlier. This shit has become very tiring for me. In fact, to be honest, I still haven't watched Season 7 of Voltron. And it's because of the fact that the fandom has gotten out of control. They have said that the creators have queer-baited things. They have said that there's been poor writing. I know somebody personally that has straight up said that they don't know how to write romance to save their life. And what people need to understand is we are talking about, in all intents and purposes, a children's show. That's right, a children's show. Voltron is a children's show. It is a Y7 show, which means it is for youth 7 and above. And the fact that all of these people who are teenagers and even in their fucking 20s at this point, giving the creator shit, saying that the show is shit because their ship's not becoming canon, sending death threats to people associated with the show, it has gotten fucking ridiculous. And it has personally burned me out. And it's very sad. I personally love Voltron Season 6. In fact, I thought that Voltron Season 6 brought me back into Voltron. I was very down and out about the series. I really didn't like Season 3. I enjoyed Season 4, but still had some issues. Season 5 nearly made me drop the show, but Season 6 and all of the payoff made me fall in love with the show. However, the reaction to the fans made me scared to even say that I liked it. And while I can't really rationally explain why I would feel that way, it mainly is just because of the fact that there was so much hate, even amongst my own friends, that I kind of felt ashamed for liking something. And if you want me to be honest, people shouldn't feel ashamed to like something. People shouldn't feel ashamed to ship something. People shouldn't be ashamed that they don't ship anything. The fact of the matter is this. We all love a series. We all love Voltron. We all love the writing, the characters. We all love the dynamics between everybody. And to be honest, the fact that something like the Voltron fandom has gotten pretty wild to the point of I just can't even watch Season 7, and honestly, I'm counting down the days till November when Season 8 is out so that the show is done and the fandom can start falling apart and decompose and not become relevant anymore. That's really fucking sad, and I know that those are some very dark, dire words, but it's how I feel because of this fucking burnout. Now, Voltron isn't the only series that has had issues in recent times. There was also issues way back a couple years ago with Steven Universe. In fact, I never got into Steven Universe, and I vehemently denounced Steven Universe because of the fact that the fandoms were so in your face about the diversity aspects of the show and the way that the show was written and the way that they treated fans of the show that I straight up said, I want nothing to do with this. And this issue doesn't even extend to just children's television. It extends out into the anime community, specifically my most recent example being Yuri on Ice. When Yuri on Ice was first being debuted, I had no interest in it. It was a series that didn't interest me. And I had personal friends that straight up said to other people that if you're not watching this show, if you do not think Victory is canon, if you do not think this show is the best series ever and is going to make history, you were wrong. You need to watch it again. And to be honest, I to this day have not watched the show because of how horrid the fan base was when the series was coming out, which is sad because it should be history defining that a canonically gay couple was not just a off the wall ship, it was canon. It should not be, it should not be, like belittled the fact that this animation team, this writing team, this director created what was essentially a masterpiece in anime storytelling and animation and all that fun stuff and character development and stuff like that. That should not be undermined, but the way that the fandom reacted to it, straight up saying that if you don't ship Victory, you're wrong, you're homophobic, you're a piece of shit, it made me never want to watch the show, and to this day, I have never watched it, and it's sad, because I feel like if the fandom didn't react that way, and it's sad because my girlfriend, who's sitting right over there off camera, loves the show, and she, I swear to God, was the only one that talked about, I loved how this dance was animated, I loved how this character growth happened, I loved the way the story has progressed. Nobody did that. Everyone was talking about how Victory is canon, and if you don't think that, even when it became canon, you're a piece of shit, and you're wrong. Anyone who thought this wouldn't happen is a homophobic piece of shit. That is the reason why people won't watch your show. It has nothing to do with the show itself. It has everything to do with the way that the fandom presents the show. Which then leads into this whole discussion is who do we hold to blame in relation to this whole fandom issue? Do we hold the creators to blame because they're not doing crowd control? Or do we hold the fans to blame because of the fact that, they're blowing things out of proportion? I think any rational-minded human being would think that, obviously, you go with the creators, send them death threats. No, I'm fucking kidding. Don't ever do that. You obviously go with the people who are taking this shit way too seriously. It has honestly become an epidemic to a point where I honestly get scared to get into shows anymore. A big example right now is My Hero Academia. I love the show. I've been quietly watching it. I've been watching it with my girlfriend Mira and my best friend May. We've been loving it. We've been watching it. We've been having massive discussions about it. We've even discussed my turning of my opinion on Bakugo, for example. I used to fucking hate him. And then I got to the end of season 2 and I'm like, I don't hate him anymore. He's actually... I said this was going to be a secret. He's actually one of my top 5 favorite characters now with the way that they've really developed him. But it's one of those things where I haven't actively put things out aside from the fact of, oh, hey, catching up on season 2. Oh, hey, I'm finally watching it because I just can't get attached to fandoms anymore. And it's one of those things where you technically shouldn't be ashamed of anything that you are a fan of. You should be proud of the fact that you're a Star Wars fan. You should be proud of the fact that you're a Voltron fan. You should be proud of the fact that you've watched Steven Universe from season 1 and you've really enjoyed where the story has gone. You should thoroughly love the fact that Yuri on Ice is your favorite anime of all time. You should even love the fact that you love a show like Free, which got shit from both ends. It got shit from people who said it wasn't a true anime because it was just a bunch of pretty boys swimming without any substance, which is far from the truth with the way that they developed seasons 1 and 2, although I admittedly haven't watched the 3rd season. But then it also got shit within the fandom saying, again, with the shipping thing, Rin Haru was the canon ship. No, it was Mako Haru. No, it was Rin Nitori and all that fun stuff. And it's getting to a point where it's becoming a pandemic, and anything that becomes popular is now plagued with this super toxic, problematic attitude with the way that people treat the original content. So the question then becomes, what do we do about it? What can us rational-minded people do to try to salvage these things that we love? And honestly, it's a very difficult question to answer. Some people will say that you just don't get into the fandoms. I know we have our friend Kanan that straight up says, don't even get into a fandom. It's not worth it. It's just going to ruin everything for you. We have people that even said, I had somebody I knew in college who straight up said, if you let a fandom ruin something for you, there's something wrong with yourself for letting the fandom ruin things for you. But my personal opinion is, if a fandom presents itself in a certain way, of course people aren't going to like it anymore. Prime example, the way that the Critical Role fandom handled the death of a certain playable character during Campaign 2 got somebody like my friend Joshua to say that he was disappointed in the way that the fandom reacted, and watching the shit show on Twitter was something that he didn't even want. In fact, I remember watching that shit show develop on Twitter, and I wasn't even caught up on Campaign 2 at the time, just seeing the tweets from Taliesin Jaffe, Matthew Mercer, Ashley Birch, among other names, just really made it sad that something as simple as a popular D&D show can't even get over the fact that there's going to be fandom backlash, and that should not be something people should deal with. It actually broke my heart seeing Matthew Mercer get kind of upset at the fact that he was deemed one of the most hated people on Twitter the week that this situation happened. This is something that should not be happening. It is something that is running people ragged, running people down, but it is not the fault of anyone who has ever created anything unless they are perpetuating this kind of behavior, which in recent time I would argue none of these creators have done. While yes, there are some exceptions to this rule, most creators who want to tell a story, who want to create something that they are proud of, who enjoy the success that they have had all around the world, they will not accept this kind of behavior. And thus, you can't really hold them accountable. All they want to do is tell a story. All they want to do is make as many people happy as possible while keeping their general vision intact. And the fact that people want to take something that these people have created and turn it into something toxic is not the fault of the creators themselves, and people do need to realize that. People also need to realize that if you really want to help combat toxic behavior in any sort of fandom, here's what you got to do. Just be a better person. Be tolerant. Be accepting. Enjoy the fact that there are people who have different opinions, people who enjoy different ships, people who enjoy different aspects of a show. The fact that you can meet somebody who loves My Hero Academia, that's a massive shipper, that ships Todoroki Bakugo, and then you can talk to another person who loves My Hero Academia that'll sit there and say, I really love the character writing. In fact, I love that even characters like Mineta have their own character moments, and even people like Momo, who've been deemed the, not worthy of having character growth, still have character growth. Everyone should embrace that. Everyone should embrace the fact that there are different things that bring people together as far as the show, but at the same time, we're all watching the same show, we're all listening to the same music, we're all enjoying the same things, and we should all enjoy the fact that we love the base material. We can respect and enjoy the fact that we enjoy it for different things, but that should just be a testament to how well put together each piece of media is. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I'm just some dude on the internet that decided to throw out his opinions on fandom. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about fandoms in general? What do you guys think about the specific fandoms that I mentioned? Are there any other fandoms that come to mind, which I'm sure that there are, when it comes to problematic fandoms or even good fandoms? Go ahead and tell all of your stories down below. Let us know what you guys think. Once again, I'm Greg. I do apologize that this was not the video that we originally promised, but do look out next Friday for that said promised video. Once again, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are able to enjoy the conversation we're able to stimulate from this little discussion about fandoms. And until next Friday, we will catch you guys later. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys have a safe weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day, and we will catch you guys next Friday. Until then, we'll see you guys later.